Hey there everyone, welcome to 3.3 of the Community Theme Creator. Hopefully this video won't be very long, but I will be going through all the features, some of the changes and some of the fixes that went into this particular release. Obviously in the description below I'll list out everything that's been modified, but without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, we'll create a new theme. What's new in 3.3? And we'll start off in the system view, go into the editor, and the first thing you'll notice here with the elements properties window is this docked list of UI elements. But before I cover that, one thing I do want to demonstrate here is that you can resize this window finally. Okay. And it also supports various Windows desktop scaling percentages now. I know a couple of people have reached out and given me screenshots of some of the properties that were all jammed up against the headings here. That's fixed, all right? So by default, first time you go into the editor using 3.3, the software will determine the best scale for this window to run at, but you can adjust it, okay? So if you weren't aware, you can press and hold the left control key on your keyboard and use the scroll wheel on your mouse to make it smaller and bigger, okay? But if you, for whatever reason, if you don't have a scroll wheel on your mouse, it's okay. You can right click at the top of the window here and you can actually zoom in, zoom out, okay? So, yeah, this context menu was added for 3.3, all right? Let's see. Okay, so the docked UI elements, you can keep them docked within this window, or you can right click and select float, and you can change the position, change the size, orientation of how you wish these docked UI elements to look and where you want them placed. This can also be scaled. And again, right click on the frame. You can zoom in, zoom out. And if you wish to see labels, you can. And if you wish to change the size of the labels, you can do that too. All right. It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to have it docked, and I don't wish to have labels. Now, the purpose. So previously, if you wanted to add a UI element, you would go to the layer or group, and you would select from the context menu the UI element you wish to add, and it would add it to the selected layer or group, okay? But now, and then it would always add it as the first element within the list, okay? So now what you can do, you can just simply say, hey, you know, I want to add a frame and I want to place it right between these two UI elements, okay? So now you've got freedom over, you know, where you want the initial or where you want the element to be placed initially within the tree view, all right? So let's just move this frame over here for now. And, you know, you don't have to just drag and drop. If you want, you can double click. So for example, if I double click on the ellipse, double click on the rectangle, it just simply adds those elements to the first elements in the list for that layer or group, okay? I'm just going to delete them. I don't want them. All right, and let's just move this out of the way. Go to frame. So let's see. Another enhancement I've made here is, instead of scrolling up and down, if you want to add animations, you would scroll all the way down, define your animations or change the effect, blah, 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 and then bounce all the way up to the top to layout. You don't need to do that anymore. Well, you can if you want, but what you can do is just simply hit the category and it will jump straight to that panel or section, okay, properties section. All right. So in this case, I want to change the appearance of this frame. I'm going to use an assist. I want a thick rounded border. I want a gold gradient, but I'm going to go in and edit ever so slightly. And let's see, something like that. Let's say I want to tweak the thickness a little bit, maybe make it 10, not 14. Like so. And maybe I want padding within the frame. Like so. And background opacity, I just want a transparent background. Or do I want a transparent background? No, I'll have a black background, solid black, no opacity at all, okay? So now that I've set up my frame, and just to demonstrate here, if I add this rectangle and set the layout fill parent, because I added padding to the frame, it's automatically placed the a gap between the rectangle and the frame itself. Okay, so that's what the padding is doing here. But I don't want this rectangle. All right, so now I've got the frame the way I want it. I'm going to right click on the frame. I can do it up here too. Save style as, and that's one I created earlier, but I'm going to overwrite it. Replace existing style. All right, I'm simply going to exit this view. I'll save it. And I'll go to Horizontal Wheel Games 1. And what I'll do, I'll double click, add a frame. Whoops. Right click on the frame, select a style, select that gradient. And I'm going to right click on that frame and apply. And now from here, I can just simply double click and add another frame. Double click, add another frame. Well, if I select the group and add another one. All right. So now and using the smart guides, which are a lot faster now and a lot more useful. He says, okay. And again, I can still move stuff around. Like so. Move that. Doesn't really matter. I'm just, you know, I just wanted it in order. So by selecting the style up front, and when you add that element to a view, it will automatically add it with that style intact. Okay. So I've clicked on here. Let's see, appearance. It's got the padding. It's got the border thickness intact. Obviously the color, the gradient, like so. All of those properties were what was originally defined and then saved. The same is true for text fields. So I could go in here and select a style, and I have one from a pyramids theme. If I double click this, again, a text style is being applied to this UI element. I can just simply double click. I don't know what did I do? Did I inadvertently click on something here? Double click on the text field. I'm not seeing it. Oh, I know. I know where it is. It's in here. It's behind. Or is it? Well, that is interesting. You know what? I think I've got a corrupted style here. Let me delete the element, clear the selection. Let me just save the progress as is. I'm going to go to the pyramids theme. I think what I had done is save that style during a certain build of CTC. I think that's what's going on. So I'm just going to right click on this one. Let's have a look at some of the properties here. It's set to auto size, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it looks good. So I'm just going to right click on this text element here. I'm going to save style as. I'm going to overwrite the existing one and simply come out. I'm going to go back to the horizontal wheel games view. I'm going to right click, select a style. It's selected. And let's see, I'm double clicking on the text. There you go. That's what it was. It was just I had an earlier version of a style out there from an early build of CTC version 3.3. All right. So yeah, it's added a text field in that style. And, obviously with this, I can just simply go here, text, metadata, select the metadata field that I want, game name, for example. And it had already had it set up to wrap and trim and all this kind of stuff. So it was already configured that way. All right. So it's very useful. And as you notice, when I had exited this theme, went into another theme, copied a style or saved that style, and then went back to this theme, went into this view, the frame was still selected. So for the duration of you being within the Community Theme Creator, any styles that you have selected will remain selected until you exit Community Theme Creator. Okay. But while you're in Community Theme Creator, these styles will remain selected. So you can hop from theme to theme. You can hop between views within the same theme and do your thing. You can apply or add elements with those styles already selected. All right. So that's text, element styles, frame styles. But what about wheels? Well, still an element. All right. So let's see. And I have a sneaky suspicion that I've got some outdated styles on here too. All right. So I'm not going to pick one. Let's just clear these selected styles on here. I don't have to, but it just keeps it nice and clean. Let's see what we have. Maintain styles. Okay, so I don't have any wheel styles, which is good. If I click on wheel, cover flow, I'm trying to think of something that would be some kind of proof here. Let's see, any kind of curvature. Yeah, all right. So let's change the background color. Something like that. And effects, let's say I wish to add a drop shadow. Straight down, I think. Yeah. And maybe not so intense. Something a little more subtle. All right. I don't want to spend a great deal of time on this. It's just to prove a point. So I've applied a very kind of basic curve. And instead of setting up all those properties over and over and over again for different themes, I can just simply right click on the wheel, save style, and I can just say games wheel with slight curve, horizontal games wheel with slight curve, and subtle drop shadow. All right, save that. And then what I'll do, I can close, save. I'll go into another one, edit. The wheel will be defaulted. And I'm going to right click. Actually, it doesn't matter. I don't need to select a style from here. I'm going to right click on the wheel itself here. I'm going to select a style. I've selected it. I'm now going to go in and apply this. And just so that you can see the drop shadow, I'm going to edit the background color. Okay. So that's how you can do it. You can apply the style, add the element, but in this case, a wheel element, you can only have one. So all I did was select the style and then just apply that style. Okay. And again, this will work across themes. So while I'm in the Community Theme Creator, this selected style will be in effect while I'm hopping through different views, different themes. All right. I think I've pretty much covered styling. You can style as resources as well. So if I were to define this as a, let's say, I want rounded corners. Subtle, okay. I don't know. Generally doesn't remember. Let's do 800 by 600. Let's make it 900. And then I can save this as a rounded mask, I guess. That really doesn't tell me much. All right, whoops. Users resource. That would help, right? Rounded mask. And then what I can do, so for example, if I can just simply select a style here, rounded mask, all right, double click. No, it didn't refresh it. It's supposed to be red, as in a resource. It will refresh when I do this. No, or not. Okay, well, it is a resource. And then, let's see, I want a selected video. Do I want selected video? Yeah, I want that. And then click on opacity mask. I go down here, I can say mask resource and rectangle 1. And there you go. All right. So this is supposed to show as red here. Yep. It just wasn't refreshing the tree, and I'll fix that after this video. But yeah, you can define resources or define a resource and save that as a style if you want to do that too. All right. And I think that's supposed to be uniform, is it not? Or none? Or fill? Oh, because it's a widescreen video. Let's see. So that's styling. That's the UI element list. It's got multiple purposes here. Let's see. I covered the shortcuts. That lets you get to the sections quickly without scrolling up and down. You can float or dock, whatever you want to do. This is sizable and scalable in an obvious way now through a context menu, and it does work with various scaling percentages on your Windows desktop. And then I think the last thing I just need to cover here is, and I'll save this because I want to go into a theme or a view that has a lot of UI elements in it. So let's go to wood panels, which is not my theme, but it has a lot of UI elements in it. So if I edit this platform view, And I won't be adding anything, but as you can see, the list is long. There is a lot of UI elements, all right? And by the way, I've changed the badges. The colors are the same, the sizes are the same. It's just that I have changed the style. So when you actually resize this UI elements panel window now, the badges are actually consistent when they scale up and scale down. Before it was kind of deforming inside. So I redid them, just in case you were curious. So like I said, a lot of UI elements in this particular view, okay? So how on earth would you find stuff? So now you've got the search bar, okay? So if I look for Sony, for example, we've got 6 UI elements with the word Sony in it. So we've got one called Target. Okay, so this person defined different aspect ratios for Sony PSP, Sony Vita. Yeah, so those are our 6 hits. So there you go. You can now search for UI elements within the tree view using the search bar. It's fairly standard operation here. You've seen it within web browsers and so on. Find and then find next, find previous. Works just fine. Anything else within here? You can minimize this as before, but it retains the search bar and you still have access to the game controller, gamepad. I can't remember if that was visible or not. I don't think it was visible when you minimize this panel. So what I consider 2 of the most useful will still be allowed for usage even when this panel is somewhat minimized, all right? So I could search for wheel. We got 1 hit and it's already found the wheel and highlighted the wheel on the editor. So it's very useful. All right. I think I've pretty much exhausted everything I need to cover within this window. I don't know if you notice, but the video is playing here, and as I drag the window, the video is paused. That's by design, just so that if you're moving some of these windows that are associated with the editor, it used to be very laggy. So what I've done, I've paused any video that's currently playing, even if they were playing within the wheel items themselves. All videos will pause while you perform your drag operation, and then you let go and the video will continue. All right. That was just a performance enhancement, but I just wanted to let you know, I didn't want you to think something's broken. All right. Let's see. And likewise with things like color editors, while you're in a color editor, the video is paused until you exit. Okay. So again, don't freak out if you see your video paused. It's just so that the focus is primarily on whatever operation it may be, drag drop or color picker, or your color dialog, I should say. All right, so those are the enhancements. I've covered some of the performance improvements. A lot of them I can't really show you. It's just behind the scenes in how I'm performing calculations, or some of the code I may have rearranged. I can't really demonstrate that, but it is quick. And just simply clicking on these UI elements here, you can see how fast the properties are being loaded and displayed. A lot faster than the previous build of the Community Theme Creator. All right. And as you can see, this view has a horrendous amount of UI elements, okay? So performance is very, very good with this build. Some of the more notable fixes to this build were, it was reported to me not long after I had released the official 3.2, was that there were issues with custom images and images in general not working within what was it not working within the marquee views, both platform and game. That's been fixed. It was a path name problem. Not so much with my software, but regardless, I put a workaround in there and it works just fine. So whenever you're defining marquee views now for either game or platform, they work just fine when you publish to Big Box, and it's with no issue. The issue came about in 3.2. I had generated code and generated the path name slightly differently. I was trying to abide by some of the documentation provided by the Launchbox team in the PDF document. But unfortunately, that does not work with marquee views. Don't know why, but it doesn't. So I had to revert my code back specifically just for marquee views. So anyway, so that's one of the biggest fixes. And just being in the editor itself, it refreshes the editor less, especially when you do cut, delete. If you're rearranging elements within the tree view, it doesn't, depending on what you're doing, and depending on the parent or no parent, it will result in no refresh. So it's instant reordering, Z-ordering. And then just some really old bugs that have finally been fixed. Some bugs that no one had reported, and I just stumbled across them because I was kind of in that general area just testing 3.3. So like I said, I'll put the full list out of all the changes, fixes, and features, but that's primarily it. It's been a while for me to finally circle back and tackle the element list or the tree view and the properties. I've been wanting to do it for a very, very long time. Finally, I've gotten to it. So I hope you like it. I love it. I've been obviously playing around with this for quite some time now. I've gotten used to it. I do like it. And I certainly like the performance. So, so with that said, that is 3.3 in a nutshell. I'm sorry that this video was a little bit longer than I was wanting it to be. But hopefully I've gone over some of those features or some of the new features in a way that you can clearly understand and you can get to grips with straight away. But as always, if you've got any questions, hit me up on Discord or hit me up on Patreon, and I'll reply as quickly as I can. All right. So like I said, please enjoy 3.3. And to those of you that have purchased the software directly without signing up on Patreon, don't worry. I'm going to replace I think it's 3.2.7 build. I'm going to replace it directly with 3.3. So essentially, it's a free upgrade. So anyone that has purchased that software, you should be able to download that free of charge. All right. I think that's it. Once I put this build out, then I'm going to start looking at the poll results to prioritize what features people want in version 3.4. All right, so that's my next thing. But I'm going to give myself a week break, let this version kind of stabilize, and hopefully there's no emergency fixes that I need to carry out. But I'm just letting you know what I've got planned in the coming weeks. All right, so until the next video, take care, everyone, and I'll catch you fairly soon.